What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I missed y'all. This video is going to be a little bit of a long one, so I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible, but we're going to be jumping back into AKKO. I did a video about a year ago and we're going to be getting a lot more details and we're going to be answering questions that you put on that video. So make sure you watch this entire video because at the end of it you're going to be getting a great deal. So let's go. So about a year ago, I made a video about a phone insurance company called AKKO, and I think it did pretty well all around. They got about 12,000 views and about 100 comments or so, and there seemed to be an interest in an affordable alternative solution besides all the major companies out there. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I will put that link up above, and you'll find it in the description as well. In every video I make, I try to be transparent and upfront with you. And in that AKKO video that I made, there was a few things that weren't very clear, and I'm sorry for that, and I wanted to address it. You guys were 100% correct. I did not file a claim with AKKO at the time that I made that video. Now that's a good and bad thing. The good thing being I haven't broken anything and neither has my son, so I'm pretty happy that we haven't had any broken devices to deal with. Two, the bad part is I did not go through that entire process to give you the A to Z on how that works and how they operate. I can't fake a claim or pretend something's broken. That would be fraud and a complete whole move. I'm sorry for that, but I hope that's a little bit clearer now. I try to take care of things as much as possible and teach that to my son because things aren't free. You have to work hard for them. So I try to make sure they last as long as possible. But as you know, accidents happen, which is why it's always important to have that backup plan like an insurance if something does go wrong. However, I mainly went with AKKO and made that video based on my experience and findings about their company. They seem like a solid company who really cares about the customer base and they're affordable, which is something I always look for. Hold up. Don't click off just yet. Hold up. Give me 1 minute. Let's talk about why you're here and why you should continue watching. I reached out to AKKO's team to get more clarification and answers based on the comments and questions that you posted on that video. This has been several weeks behind the scenes working with their team, but I've managed to get an interview with one of the co-founders of AKKO. This way you hear directly from the top of the organization. Who would have known little old me doing an interview with a co-founder of a company? I don't know about y'all. I'm excited. So here's the video. Let's go. I want to start off by saying thank you for taking the time to do this interview and being open to this idea. I'm going to make this sound like a work meeting, so bear with me, but just introduce yourself and let us know what you do.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Chris. Really excited to be here. So I'm Eric, one of the co-founders at AKKO. My background is in engineering and technology startups and really focused on just in general industries where we want to incorporate modern technology to create great customer experiences, and particularly in industries that haven't changed for a while. So that's generally what I've been focused on, and obviously with AKKO the past 4 years, really applying that here. So excited to dive in, chat with you today, and yeah, again, thanks again for having me.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot of experience. So it's all right with you. I want to jump into some of those questions that I put together based on that last video that I made. So the first one is, now for anyone who hasn't heard of AKKO, can you explain what AKKO is, how long has it been around, and anything else you want to share about AKKO?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So AKKO is a technology company, and really our mission is protecting the devices that the world relies on by relentlessly innovating to deliver an unparalleled insurance experience. So that's kind of our mission. I wanted to lay it up top, but really what that kind of means and dives into is over the past 4 years, we've been around for 4 years, myself and my co-founder, we didn't come from the insurance industry. So we wanted to really have an idea of how to provide the best experience in a space where we actually felt the pain points ourselves. So my co-founder actually had the idea when he broke his devices years ago that he was working with, he needed them to use for work, and he had a bad claims experience. And when you think about needing your devices for work, it's not only a pain just in general to deal with the process, but it also costs you precious time and money. And so we really came at this wanting to flip the industry on its head, start with the customer experience first, use modern technology, automation, and product design, and really kind of use that in other products that you see all around you. Think about, ordering food through an app, all the different experiences that we get through our mobile app and in general every day. We wanted to bring that into this space. And we know that kind of in general, our products and technology are constantly evolving. And so, our goal is really to constantly listening to customers to improve that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you want to be the Uber of insurances for devices and all the things that we love. That's great. I really like that.
Good way to think about it, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And definitely leveraging technology is a great way to, push a company forward. Yeah. So is it safe to say that your top competitors are, the Apple, Samsung Care, and then some of the other services, other insurance services that are provided by carriers like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and how do you differ from them and that makes AKKO a better alternative?
Yeah, so those are our main competitors. You can kind of think about them in two different buckets. So you have the one on the manufacturer side. So that's Apple, Samsung, Google. And then you have the carrier specific insurances. So as you mentioned, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and those actually are provided. The insurance part of it is actually provided by two companies called Assurion and Assurant. So when usually you kind of go file your claim, you might call Verizon and they might say, oh, you actually have to go to Assurion to file that claim. And so that kind of component I think is important to know in that, because there's kind of two different providers there, and because their brand is really on that experience. The main differentiators kind of bucket them for those two different components, two different types of competitors. Our main differentiators really come down to one bundle about price and deductibles, one around the customer experience, and particularly around claims, but also just the overall experience. And then the third piece being our options for the product around bundled coverage for all your electronics. So I'll kind of go through those three. I think it's important to kind of highlight some of the differences. And I know also you have a lot of questions around them. So price-wise, for a single phone, you'll generally see the competitors range around $7 to $17. So it can really get up there for some of the carrier solutions. For AKKO, we really focused on transparent, low pricing, $5 to $12 a month for the same phones that they're covering. And we also provide generally lower deductibles. So we're really not trying to surprise anyone with a high deductible when you file that claim. We also, within the pricing, we do cover used and refurbished items at no extra cost. So it's the same price as a newly purchased phone for the same make and model, right? If you purchase a new phone, that's the same make and model as you bought it used, that would be the same price from us. Yeah. And so that isn't always offered through other folks, particularly some of the manufacturers. That's on the price side and the deductibles. On the claim side, our goal from the beginning was that filing a claim should be as easy as it was to sign up initially, right? So that's the bar. We wanted to really set that bar pretty high that you should go after. And so instead of building, a massive call center where you're thinking about kind of calling back and forth and dealing with a non kind of automated or tech forward solution, we really prioritize that technology. And so we mix that kind of technology and automation with a strong local repair presence. So we work with a lot of repair shops around the country, thousands of shops, where we always prioritize wanting the customer to have the best experience. So if something is repairable, we won't have kind of force a replacement, which sometimes does happen with competitors. We want to send you to a local shop that we've vetted, and we can make sure they're getting a good repair with guarantees on those repairs. And then we're using also automation throughout that process to auto-approve those claims that aren't fraud. So we ensure no customers spending extra time when they don't need to throughout the claim process. And we're always being transparent and communicative with customers throughout the process. And then lastly, I know we talked about kind of the Uber part of it being kind of really seamless and easy. The other kind of analogy we sometimes bring up is on the Spotify piece. So we think about one aspect of some of our products as one being the Spotify of device protection. So this was our flagship product we thought about initially. And it costs $15 a month. It covers one phone plus all your other electronics, so 24 other items. And this is something that other competitors can't offer. You think about Apple, they can't provide coverage for your phone, your Lenovo ThinkPad, Bose headphones, or your LG TV, right? They're only going to cover your Apple items, and you're paying per item. So this one cost, you don't pay per item. Those are kind of the main categories differences.
Thanks for breaking that down. And what I'm hearing is a lot of good options, affordable, direct, and really making a seamless process.
Yep, exactly. You got it.
Well, thanks for giving that quick rundown and definitely very detailed, aspect of AKKO and what the company can offer. So as you mentioned, AKKO has been around for about 4 years and been consistently evolving and growing and building those strong relationships with its customers. Now, before I buy anything or subscribe to any service, I do research, I go on Google, I go on YouTube, and I have to see what other people say about it. Otherwise, I don't buy it. And I think that's why it's so great about YouTube and all these other websites. That's pretty much how I started making my channel, was just trying to help somebody else if they were looking to buy something. Now, I was drawn to AKKO from reading all the positive reviews, especially the website like Trustpilot, Gadget Review. Everybody had nothing but great things to say about them. From what I gathered is AKKO is affordable, simple, no BS, and straight to the point, as you kind of mentioned earlier. And it's what I look for in almost every company I do business with. So many reviewers who watched that last video commented and had a lot of interesting comments. So I just want to go over some of those questions and see if we can get those answers. One of the reoccurring comments was, is this company a scam and AKKO is a joke? Is this just a tale of it's too good to be true? And do you want to address some of those comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And unfortunately, like our company, like many others in our space, we do fall victim to fraud, especially since we are doing direct consumer and have, a market where we cover used and refurbished items. And we try to address that, but many of the comments you'll see online on areas where review statements aren't verified. So places, for example, like YouTube comments or Reddit, they're calling AKKO a scam. It's very possible, right? That they are kind of not verified and they might just be unsuccessful in kind of the scamming part of us. We have seen that and actually matched users on either like Facebook kind of comments or other places like that. So it's important, when, as you mentioned, like when researching companies, to look for verified sources for reviews. And then naturally for viewers that are looking at like Trustpilot or Google, you'll see a lot of our like hundreds and hundreds of reviews and high review ratings that we do get from real customers and their experiences with AKKO handling their claims. It's also important, particularly in our space with warranties and insurance, it is a regulated industry. And so companies that are actually committing scams, they'll get reported and they will get shut down very quickly. So the fact that we've been around for 4 years, have really top ratings. And then not only that, but also a lot of publishers picked us up and they did their research as well, as you mentioned. Plus, we've also gotten a lot of partners who wanted to offer a lot of our products, like one of the world's largest insurance agencies, some of the nation's leading refurbished device marketplaces. So they are kind of partnering with us, and they wouldn't do that, right, if we were scamming people. And obviously, there's also a mention of and I'll kind of talk about this, throughout, but throughout the 4 years, we've been constantly iterating and improving, right? And we really take feedback very seriously. We want to, take that feedback. And we definitely have gotten a lot of constructive feedback of things people would have preferred to have in the product experience or through the claims experience. We know as we're growing, right, we're kind of continuing to work on those. And so it definitely wasn't an aspect of a scam or a joke, but if sometimes someone had, a longer than desired communication back to them, right, that happened during some of kind of the high growth periods where we really scaled up a lot of our, team and automation, where you really just don't see that from us anymore around the kind of lack of any kind of like communication mishaps.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it definitely sounds like you need to know your source. You need to validate, there's a lot of bots out there. There's a lot of unknowns making comments and saying things that you have to know who's saying what to really know if you can trust that person. On top of that, there's another question that came up I want to bring up is, the one thing that isn't covered is a loss, such as theft or mysterious disappearances. That's my only concern. And this was true about a year ago when I signed up. And has anything changed since that point?
Yes. So it has changed. And this is, to your point, one example of, we're continuously learning from customers, hearing, feedback and trying to actually iterate and continue to improve and optimize on our product. So obviously our plans cover, unlimited accidental damage, parts failure, but also theft incidents for eligible devices. And for phones, we do cover up to one incident of a lost device. And so the kind of loss versus theft, an example of a lost device would be like dropping it in a lake, for example, or dropping it down a storm drain, where you kind of know where it went, but you can't retrieve it. That would be a lost item. And we do cover that for phones up to one incident. And then on the theft side, this will be if someone actually takes your phone out of your bag, or you're at a coffee shop and you go to the bathroom and the phone's missing, so you don't know where it is. And even if you leave it somewhere, you come back and you can't find it. Right, that still is kind of clear signs that the phone was stolen. And so after filing a police report, we can provide that replacement.
That's great. I mean, that's definitely a relief. I can't tell you how many times I have lost my phone, so it's definitely great to know you have that protection. Now, is there any added cost to that?
Nope. So on the phone, no, it's included.
Awesome. That's great. Now, speaking of customer service, as you mentioned, there was a couple comments regarding customer service. One of them was saying how AKKO dropped the ball and has been very bad lately. A little vague statement, but can you go into detail about AKKO's customer service and what an AKKO customer can expect?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as we mentioned, right, so we've kind of around for 4 years. During 2021 and 2022, we grew our customer base a pretty large amount, about 20 times. And so 20 times over. Through that period, there were certainly a few 1 to 2 week stretches where we weren't hiring and kind of training fast enough to keep up with that growth. And we recognize that. And that's kind of part of why we're bringing in technology automation throughout that period to try and kind of keep up with that. But during those spans, right, occasionally we didn't have as good of customer communication as we would have liked, right? That's our kind of priority, is making sure people have a transparent, communicative experience. They understand what's going on at all times. And so right through those learning experiences, we made sure that we scaled up a really strong team that's delivering the best customer experience for our customers. And we also, obviously, throughout that, introduced a lot of automation as well. We're now kind of really one of the leading, probably the leading company in terms of technology automation in the claims experience space, and really focus on fast, easy repairs and strong resolutions in the event of a replacement as well. So kind of when you look at the reviews from the past, 6 months, 9 months, it has always been very strong, but particularly in that period, kind of you see, less of, oh, I just didn't kind of get communication, they dropped the ball kind of, questions. We really prioritize a very, very fast response time and constant communication throughout the process, so people are never unsure of what the next step is or where the, kind of claim is sitting.
Great. So what I'm hearing is, you definitely saw those gaps and, that initial kind of obstacles and kind of learning as you go and grow, as everybody does. And then on top of that, then making those changes and making sure you're providing, a better service to your customers. That's great. Thank you. So another comment we have here about proof of purchase. What if I bought a phone from OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, those third-party, places that you would go to, and if I wanted to ensure that through AKKO's plan, how would I show proof of purchase if I don't have a receipt? Is this a problem to acquire AKKO insurance for a phone that you don't have a typical receipt?
Yeah, so that and kind of address your one of the prior questions as well. So when it comes to covering a device, particularly against loss or stolen, having a copy of the purchase receipt is important for the device. So if people purchase a phone in cash through something like a peer-to-peer marketplace, it wouldn't be covered for those components. But any phone, no matter where it was purchased, would be covered for accidental damage and parts failures, right? So as long as, of course, it's covered, it's eligible at time of enrollment, meaning that there's no physical damages or pre-existing malfunctions, right, or anything wrong with the phone.
Okay, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So some of the last few questions that came up on that video was about filing a claim with AKKO. Now, we all dread that process and get frustrated, whenever we don't have our items or it gets lost or broken. Nowadays, you have to treat everything like gold or more like eggs the way these prices are going. So how does AKKO help alleviate that initial stress when filing a claim? How does that process work, and what can customers ensure to make that process as seamless as possible?
So from our side, we really prioritize transparency and communication throughout the whole process. The worst thing in the world is if someone is unsure what to do, and you can imagine, right, you break your phone and you don't know what the next step is or where to go or what to do. And so we really want to eliminate those situations from happening. And so we don't want anyone waiting or unsure of what to do. So the process goes as follows, right? When customers need to file a claim on a device that's been damaged or stolen, they can really easily do so. And again, kind of I mentioned in the beginning, our bar that we wanted to set for ourselves was filing a claim should be as easy as it was to sign up initially. We really wanted to make it a great experience. And so you can do so very easily via our mobile app or app itself on the phone or the web itself. Obviously, you need to have the web experience because if the phone is not operable or stolen, right, you can't use it. So the process only takes a few minutes to fill out your information, and it's completely digital. Then we will request any kind of photos of damages or malfunctions if needed, or a copy of a police report or something like a theft incident. And then from a damaged phone perspective, customers can expect their claim to be resolved typically same day or next day, especially for a screen crack. And our claims team is available 7 days a week because, as you might imagine, right, we know how important it is to get people back on their feet, and things break on the weekends. They don't just break during the week. So you have to have 7-day-a-week support, right, to be able to have that happen. Really prioritize that. And then for some other types of devices like a laptop where the kind of parts might need to be provided or ordered, depending on the exact make and model, if it's less common, these might take 2 to 4 days if it needs to go, depending on the exact issue. And then also theft claims, they'll be resolved within 12 to 24 hours of receiving the customer's filed police report. That's really the biggest step on that part. And the whole thing from kind of, filing to the end, we want to make sure, again, that the customer's never unsure of what to do, even if it's kind of a step for them. Oh, they need to provide us a police report, or go into, this shop. And obviously sometimes, you're at work, you're going to go after work to the shop to get it fixed. And it takes, an hour or two to get fixed, those kinds of things. And then you're back on your feet. So we have kind of the different processes. And then from a payout perspective, if the device is, kind of fully broken and we're providing a replacement, we can provide the replacement device itself or payout. And most of our customers do prefer the payout because then they have full flexibility in deciding what to do, right? And that was our goal, was you have flexibility in deciding what to do. Do you want to upgrade to a new device? Do you want to get the same one? Do you want to, combine it, purchase a completely different item because you don't need it anymore? You really have the flexibility.
Seems like you really put a lot of thought into that, and it seems like a great process overall. I'm hearing a lot of things about, consistent support from the minute it happens till you get back to that device or any electronic that you need. And then on top of that, a fast turnaround time. And I think that's really important.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And for us, the claims experience was the most important, and still is, right? When you actually need and the protection that you bought.
All right, Eric, last question for you. What does the future of AKKO look like? And can you share any of those plans with the world?
Sure. Yeah. So we're continuing to expand. So we are nationwide and continuing to grow. We're working with tons of new and exciting partners to get more devices protected with a more fair and valuable coverage throughout different types of partners that we're working with. So I mentioned some of the ones like Refurbished device marketplaces and others in the kind of connectivity internet space and cellular space. We're also constantly enhancing our platform. So at its core, right, AKKO is a technology company. And so that experience and automation technology is really what we focus on a lot. So our engineers are working on really providing that best experience every single day and through automation, right? So we're only getting better and better around that. And a lot of that automation is also around reducing fraud. So we're keeping coverages and prices affordable by making sure we don't have to price in that fraud, and it is kept out so that all the honest claims, honest customers, that we're providing that great experience and low prices for them. And we know, right, nothing's perfect. So we're continuing to listen to customers' feedback. So as we continue to grow in our future, we will constantly be optimizing and improving. So we're remaining providing the best experience for customers. We never want to, kind of sit flat and be not innovating and moving forward. So that is something we're constantly going to be doing. And so we're also leveraging our technology platform to bring device insurance to international markets. So there is a kind of future. You mentioned in your question, the world has a lot of devices, and connectivity is important for everyone. Our daily lives are so important and so connected to devices now. And so we really think our tech forward approach allows us really flexible, iterative opportunities to work with partners across the globe. We're really leveraging our technology platform first and foremost to enable that great experience. And so I'll kind of sleeve that. And then lastly, as we do continue to grow, would love to hear any feedback for those watching or those that have AKKO or want to buy AKKO and try it out and have any suggestions for us. You can email contact@getakko.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to read and hear what you have to say and how we continue to improve and grow. Thanks so much.
That's awesome, Eric. I appreciate that. I think what you're doing now and being transparent, and then, obviously trying to continue to improve, can't fall flat, like you said, grow, and you have to keep putting yourself out there. And I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate you as well, taking the time to talk to us and hearing what we have to say and sharing more about AKKO. Appreciate that.
All right, so that was great information. And once again, Eric, thanks for your time on this. Thanks for being transparent with me and everybody else about AKKO. I wish you and AKKO the best of luck, and I will happily be a continued loyal customer. So have a great one.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you having me on. Really appreciate you as giving feedback and giving us the hard questions and transparency, and hope to be back soon as well. So that was the interview, everyone. I hope it gave you the answers you were looking for and provided more clarity on AKKO. As I said, I try to be upfront and honest with you, and I will continue to do that, and I hope this video helps clear that up. And if I don't, let me know in the comments, call me out. I will do my best to address it and fix it. I've been happy with AKKO and even expanded my plan to the Everything Protected, which includes 1 phone and 25 additional items. Now I have my laptop, iPad, desktop computer, headphones, smartwatch, all protected, and all the things that I love. It's a great deal for a low monthly payment for about 15 bucks, but what's even more valuable is knowing that you have all those expensive items that you love are protected. Right now, AKKO is offering a deal that your first month is free and you get a $50 credit towards your first claim. All you need to do is click on my link in the description to get that deal. I also put all the other links in the description if you want to read up on AKKO and read all the great reviews and other things that people have to say about them. If you have any questions or anything else you want to talk about, don't forget to put some comments below. As always, smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.